The Nonprofit Podcast. Tools, tips, and tactics to take your organization to the next level. The Nonprofit Podcast, powered by Donorbox.
Welcome to a new season of the Nonprofit Podcast. I'm Cara, fundraising coach at Donorbox. We're here each week with practical actions you can use today to increase donations to take your nonprofit to the next level tomorrow. It's season 3, and we've been listening to your feedback and have a lineup for you that delivers more immediately actionable advice, pro tips, and nonprofit best practices to move your mission forward with confidence today. We know that you're short on time, and so there will be no waiting around on this podcast each week. We'll keep it informative and bite-sized. We'll talk to guests and thought leaders. We'll learn from some inspiring nonprofits too. We want to ensure that you're not wasting your precious time and resources reinventing the wheel. So get ready for a season that never forgets you're here to help others, and we're here to help you, starting today. We want to lead off this season talking briefly about maximizing your communication plan using a very effective and inexpensive tool that you already have on hand. Good old reliable email. You know, email marketing is often dismissed, but email is packed with benefits that relate directly to the one thing every single nonprofit should be obsessed with: saving money and increasing overall giving. Email is absolutely essential to your nonprofit right now, and here are some actionable tips to make it easy so that you can raise more critical funds for your mission. We live in a time where there are more channels than ever before to reach donors. Some are easy to put into action, some are difficult, some have a much higher return on investment than others, and this can really be overwhelming. You know, email seems very old school when you compare it to other digital media options out there. So I'll throw this question out here. Is email even relevant anymore? And my short answer is yes, it is still relevant, and yes, it can be highly effective with the right strategy. So nonprofits raised an average of $78 for every 1,000 fundraising emails delivered last year. And that nearly doubled from the year before, and it's only growing. And that's why it's important. Email helps you reach your donor base quickly, and most emails are opened within an hour of them hitting an inbox. And social media is certainly one of the quickest ways to get your message out there too, and you should have it as part of your overall strategy, but it's just more difficult to control who sees your posts and when they see them. With email, you can decide exactly when to send each email, and you can tailor your messaging to your audiences. To get this kind of segmentation and targeting with social media, you have to put a significant amount of money toward paid ads and boosted posts. So let's talk email strategy. Here are 3 strategy tips from some email pros. First, build up your lists. You could be sending the prettiest, most thought-provoking emails in the world, but that really won't matter if no one sees them. You know, we work with a lot of nonprofits that are really just getting started, and a common topic is building a constituent list or an email list. Some of them use their Donorbox donation form or even their registration form to add a checkbox to receive more information. You know, it's a click here to receive updates, opt-in option. And we had an animal charity who also collected a lot of names recently with a paper sign-up form at an in-person festival. But here is one thing that's a not to do. Do not buy your list or otherwise send emails to contacts without their consent. At best, this could result in a high unsubscribe rate, and at worst, you can really breach some data protection laws and lose donor trust. Okay, so after you build your lists, find ways to segment them based on demographics or interests, giving history, all kinds of things. This can make your message really targeted and seem really personalized. And I've said several times, if your message is written to everyone, if it's a general blast, it's really not for anyone. And that's what I mean by segmentation. When you reach out to a supporter with a message that resonates with them, they'll be much more likely to give. And if you can address them by name, whether in the subject line or in the greeting, they're more likely to engage with the email. You really want to make it feel like you're speaking directly to them instead of speaking to the masses. And the simplest way to find out what your audience wants to see is to ask them. It's really very simple. You can ask on your sign-up form or your follow-up email which programs or which type of news, such as volunteer opportunities or upcoming events, what do they want to receive? And you can segment your emails based on past donor behavior. So here's an example of that. A charity offers 4 distinct programs that serve their beneficiaries. Not surprisingly, many of their donors have programs that they often designate their gifts for. So they created 4 segmented donor lists based on the program they previously gave to. They sent hyper-targeted emails to each list, each containing a success story and then a specific ask amount tailored to that program. And communicating with donors based on the programs that they connect with the most is really helpful and really made them feel like their gift mattered. Okay, so you've built your lists, you've segmented them. Next, you need to take a look at your overall fundraising and marketing strategy, then create an email strategy that coincides with your messaging throughout the year. Doing this will help you reinforce your messaging across all of your channels. For example, an upcoming fundraising event should be posted on your website. It should also be shared on social media, sent with mailed invitations, and promoted in an email campaign. And I've seen a lot of organizations do this well by building an email marketing calendar to schedule out emails so everyone in the organization knows which emails are going and when they are scheduled. This will help prevent sending the same people too many things, which can just make it messy. Some organizations really find that sweet spot somewhere in between once a week and once a month. Tracking and monitoring your data can really help here. Remember, data is your friend. It can help you evaluate the success of your campaigns and make adjustments for next time. The data you should consider includes open rates, unsubscribe rates, and click-through rates. Let's look at what we can learn from each of these data points. Open rates reflect the success of your subject line, and they can also indicate whether you sent your email at the optimal time on the best day. Remember, monitor this. It is free research, and it's one of those great email cost benefits. Unsubscribe rates is the next data point. It's the worst, it really is, but it can be useful. Even if you don't want to hear it, these will show that you may be sending too many emails to the same contacts, or the content you're including is not relevant to the recipients. So use this information on your next run. And then look at the next data point. So that's your click-through rates. And this data is really reflects which emails were most engaging and which calls to action really resonated with your recipients. Here are 3 types of emails that you should definitely include in your strategy. If you have limited time for emails, these are the 3 you should be doing. First up, e-newsletters. E-newsletters are the best way to update and educate your audiences, as well as raise awareness for your cause. You can use them to highlight inspirational stories or share giving or impact stats, or even spotlight particular volunteers or donor and staff. Keep them simple and structured. Make sure your e-newsletters are consistent in formatting and branding, and that you send them at the same time on the same day every single month. For example, 11 a.m. on the 3rd Wednesday of each month. You can use templates to make it even easier to keep your formatting and branding consistent and save time. The next type of email, and this is fundraising campaigns. Whether it's for an end-of-the-year appeal or a special holiday, could be emergency disaster relief or a special day of giving, it's critical that you include emails in your strategy, and the emails have a sole goal of raising money. I like to keep them separate from the e-newsletters, make sure that they are a standalone ask. My colleagues and I met with some Donorbox organizations a couple of months ago to talk about fundraising appeals, and I was really surprised at how many were a little unsure of what an appeal is. But email appeals are often really successful if they're done well. And the third type of email that's important to you and your organization, these are stewardship emails. When it comes to building relationships, these stewardship emails ensure long-term support. Saying thank you is often more important than the ask itself. And you know what? So many fundraisers really stress about the ask, and the next ask can be really easy if donors knew the first gift that they gave was really appreciated. And this is where the stewardship emails really come in. Overall, all of these things we talked about really involves a lot of trial and error. And a lot of trial and error is involved when figuring out what works and what doesn't for your organization. If you're feeling like you'd like to know more, we have a great blog post for you. It's an essential guide to email marketing for nonprofits, and we'll have that in the show notes for you today. Reach out to us too at podcast@donorbox.org. If you'd like to talk to us more about how we can work directly with you to help with your email appeals and stewardship. And I really just want to say thank you. Thank you for choosing to spend time with the Nonprofit Podcast today. Email is here to stay, and when it's done well, it can make a huge difference in keeping your organization sustainable. I hope this short session leaves you with confidence to make a few quick, easy changes to grow your fundraising. Don't forget to download and review the Nonprofit Podcast today, or give us a thumbs up if you're listening on YouTube. Your review is a great way to help others find us. You're here to help others. We're here to help you. Until next time, stay inspired.
The Nonprofit Podcast, powered by Donorbox, helping you help others.